Good evening. I'll call the April 11, 2016 meeting Moore County Board of Education in session. Do I hear a motion to go into closed session?
Mr. Chairman, I move that the board enter into closed session for confidential personnel matters and to consult with the board attorney and preserve the attorney-client privilege, pursuant to GS 143-318-11A3A6 and GS 115C-319. The second closed session is listed later on the agenda in case additional time is needed after conclusion of the first closed session.
Second.
All in favor? We will be back no later than 6:30. Okay, I'll call this standing room only meeting to order. Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda?
So move.
Second.
All in favor? We welcome Laura Hancock and Mariana Vasquez.
We're ready, Kim.
Good evening. I am Dana Comer, the school counselor at Robbins Elementary School. Here I have my lovely 5th grade leaders. I have been working with them for 5 months now, and I hope to be teaching them a lot of insightful material, but each day I learn a lot more from them than I think that I teach them. So we have Mariana Vasquez, Olani Peralta, Laura Hancock, and Alex Simpson. Our 3 ladies are going to be doing the Pledge of Allegiance for us tonight, and Alex will be doing our inspirational.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Please be seated.
Hello everyone, my name is Alexander, and do you know what I made today? I made mistakes. And you know what? That's okay, because it means I'm trying. The only people who don't make mistakes in life are the people who never do anything. Those mistakes made me try harder and harder until I finally accomplished what I was trying to do. And I didn't fail. I just found 99 ways that didn't work. I let my mistakes teach me what to do next. Because once you've made a mistake, you know what not to do next time. If the plan doesn't work, you change the plan, but not the goal. Because if plan A doesn't work, the alphabet has 25 more letters. When I make a mistake, I automatically think, well, that didn't work, so how can I do it differently? And I encourage everyone to do the same. Because no matter what you are doing, you never fail until you quit. Whether it is taking a test, playing a sport, or cooking dinner. Unless you give up and say, I can't do this, there is still a chance that you will succeed. Winners are not people who never fail, but people who never quit. It doesn't matter whether you've messed up once or 1,000 times. Always keep trying and never give up. It is better to be 0 for 20 than to be 0 for 0. People often fail, or at least are told they are failures, many, many times before they reach their goals. So I will leave you a quote from Albert Einstein. Never give up on what you really want to do. The person with big dreams is more powerful than the one with all the facts.
We're going to shake your hand. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming tonight. You look beautiful. Thank you very much for coming tonight. Appreciate it. Thank you very much for coming. That was awesome. That was like,
Okay, I think we're ready to do it. Pam Thompson will deliver recognitions.
Good evening, everyone. We're so happy to have you here this evening. Would Tambra Chamberlain please come to the front and join Chair Cunningham and Vice Chair Dennison? Tambra is the Growing to Greatness Certified Staff Recipient for the month of April. Pinecrest High School social worker Ms. Chamberlain has served the school for 6 years and Moore County for 11 years. In addition to her full-time work as a social worker, she goes above and beyond her duties and oversees programs such as Backpack Pals and the Pinecrest High School Clothing Food Pantry, which helps students and families to meet daily needs. She also helps families access other resources in the community that are needed for students to function at the level that makes them successful. She is dedicated to the students she serves and works to make lasting relationships with them to improve their lives. She serves as the Students Against Violence Everywhere, Students Against Destructive Decisions advisor, the Student Support Team Chair, and the Homebound Service Coordinator. Wow. She improves not only the culture of Pinecrest High School, but also the surrounding community with her caring, compassionate, and patient work with her students. Pinecrest High School and Moore County Schools appreciate her generous spirit, her enthusiasm to positively influence students' lives, and her service to improve the culture at Pinecrest High School. Please join us in congratulating Ms. Chamberlain. Does she have family members here present with her? Yes. Please stand and be recognized, and I'm sure Ms. Pinecrest High School. Congratulations. Would Kathy Jones join us, please, up front? I know Kathy. Kathy is this month's Growing to Greatness Support Staff Honoree, serving Southern Pines Elementary School since 2007. She is an exceptional children's teacher's assistant. She graduated from Northmore High School. She has an associate's degree in general education and has several certificates in the area of special education. Mrs. Jones makes a difference in the life of each and every child she serves. She is angelically patient with her students and always remains positive and excited about her work, even when facing challenging situations. Her positive attitude is contagious and noticed by all on the school's campus. Ms. Jones knows that everything she does in the classrooms impacts the children, and she lives for the moments when children are smiling, learning, and enjoying life. Congratulations to Ms. Kathy Jones. Would Principal Dale Bowie, is he here? Come on out here, Dale. Any family members with Kathy and other school staff? Please stand.
Thank you.
Well.
Congratulations, Kathy. Would Miriam Hernandez please join us up front? Go right over there. Miriam is April's Growing to Greatness volunteer recipient. Dedicated to improving the lives of her students, Robbins Elementary School, and her community, Ms. Hernandez works tirelessly to support teachers and school administrators and to serve as a spokesperson for her culture. Mrs. Hernandez willingly volunteers her time whenever she is needed and does whatever is needed. She has helped provide duty-free lunches for teachers on special occasions, and she takes time intensive tasks such as making copies for teachers as well. During the Robbins Elementary School Market, she assists families to select donated items that will improve their quality of life at home. Miriam also serves on the Moore County School District-wide Hispanic Advisory Council to represent Robbins School and the Hispanic community in Moore County. Moore County Schools joins Robbins Elementary and the entire Robbins community to celebrate her generosity, her kind heart, and her devotion to students. Please congratulate Miriam with her principal, Miss Bullard, Kim Bullard, Stan. Wave your hand, Kim. And any family members that may be here tonight. Raise your hand. And any other school personnel.
Congratulations.
Would Grace West please come to the front and join Chairman Cunningham and Vice Chair Dennison? Grace is this month's Growing to Greatness Student Award winner. A senior at Pinecrest High School, Grace has made a tremendous impact not only at Pinecrest High School but also within our community. Her accolades include a long list, and I mean it's a long list, of leadership activities, honors, awards, athletic accomplishments, extracurricular activities, but the most notable difference she's made is demonstrated through her leadership of Pinecrest High School chapter of the National Honor Society. As president, she has championed the organization's mission to serve people. Through her steadfast encouragement for students to give back to others in their community, volunteerism has increased tenfold at Pinecrest High School. Grace is widely known for her hard work, determination, leadership skills, athletic prowess, and encouragement of her fellow students and community members. No doubt these characteristics will serve her well when she attends the Naval Academy this fall. We are so proud of Grace's accomplishments and her hard work, extra efforts to improve our community. Please, if her family would stand or wave your hand.
Come in the door.
One's outside.
Mr. Christina, come in. Pinecrest High School principal. Any other staff from Pinecrest? Just wave your hand. Thank you, Grace. Thank you. It's just amazing. I tell you.
Congratulations, Grace, and great news about the Naval Academy. That's awesome.
Next is Mr. Bobby Purvis. I know this man as well. Come on up, Bobby. Union Pines High School's athletic director is Mr. Bobby Purvis. He was named Athletic Director of the Year by the Athletics Directors Association. Coach Purvis attributes the honor to the teamwork of Union Pines High School coaching staff, student athletes, teachers, boosters, administrations, and school community. Congratulations, Bobby. Is any of your family here? Stand, wave your hand. Union Pines family. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you. Bobby, congratulations. Reach on chat.
Congratulations, can't imagine it. You deserve more.
What an honor. Ashley White, please come up front. Ashley is the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction's 2016 Champion for Excellence in Teaching and Learning Award recipient. A first grade teacher at Aberdeen Primary School and one of the top performing teachers in North Carolina. Isn't that awesome? She was nominated for the honor by Principal Dr. Molly Capps and parent S.G.M. Williams to recognize and celebrate her hard work on behalf of the school students as well as all of Moore County. And we appreciate all of her efforts. Any family members here this evening? Stand and wave your hand. Principal, Dr. Capps, and any other school staff, wave your hand. Thank you. Congratulations. Congratulations. She still looks like
Congratulations, Owen, and a great education phase.
she looks like high school teenager, doesn't she?
Congratulations.
Many Moore County school students have worked throughout this semester to audition for the highest honor in the state for their cultural arts specialties. We will be recognizing these students who successfully competed in the county level, district level contest to win positions in state ensembles, making them some of the best student musicians in North Carolina. As I call your name, please come up front. Seth Cole, clarinet, 13th chair, Pinecrest High School. Helena Hendrick, trombone, 9th chair, Northmore High School. Blake Peterson, trumpet, 1st chair, West Pine Middle School. Matthew Wise, 1st chair, Pinecrest High School. And can we just give them a round of applause? And if any families are here with them tonight, please stand. Wave your hand. Schools, thank you for coming.
Very proud.
Good job, man.
Congratulations. Can't wait to hear you.
Good job, man.
Congratulations. Great job. The good work. Congratulations. Takes a lot of hard work. Just the same as mine, right?
Congratulations. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Our next recognition are for students who won seats in the North Carolina Honors Chorus. If Clay Cooper and Ben Hausman would come up front, please, both of Pinecrest High School. And as they're coming, if any of their family members are here, would you wave your hand? And of course, again, our distinguished principal of Pinecrest and any other Pinecrest staff here with us, wave your hand. Let's give them a round of applause. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Great job. Good, man.
If we had time, we would get a note from you.
Congratulations.
Next is our category, students who won seats in the All-State Honors Orchestra. As I call your name, if you would come up front, please. Caroline Carter, violin, 4th chair. 1st violin, West Pine Middle. Aleandra Esteves, Did I say that right? Okay, all right, I'm trying. 16th chair, second violin, West Pine Middle School. Anna Ettridge, violin, 17th chair, second violin, West Pine Middle School. Nina Howen, close. Violin, first chair, West Pine Middle School. Emma Short, violin, 7th chair, second violin, Union Pines High School. Abby Smits, violin, 2nd chair, West Pine Middle School. Natalie Tuinstra, cello, 2nd chair, West Pine Middle School. Let's give them a round of applause. And family members, if you would stand or just wave your hand if you have it. And of course, Union Pines principal, West Pine Middle School principal, are you here? Wave your hand. Now at this time, while they're doing that, let's just a round of applause for all of our musicians that have shown tonight.
Yes. Esther.
Congratulations. Good job.
Thank you.
You must be thrilled. Love your dress. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Moore County Schools coaches not only teach in our classrooms, but also train our student athletes. Taking the above and beyond initiative to be the best trained coach possible to serve our students, the coaches recognized tonight earned either the accredited interscholastic coach or National Board Certified Teacher certification. I'll swallow. As I call your name, please come up front. Chris Brown, Northmore High School. Chris Coble, Northmore High School. Jennifer Dameron, Northmore High School. Keith Mabe, Northmore. Joey Farnsworth, Union Pines High School. Greg Meyer, Union Pines High School. And Brandon Reynolds, Union Pines High School. And Barbara Fox, Pinecrest High School, who is a National Board Certified Teacher. Can we all give them a round of applause? On behalf of the Board of Education, we congratulate all of these outstanding coaches. And any family members with them, principals, wave your hand. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. Great job. Thanks for all you guys did.
Aren't you? Congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you for coming. Congratulations. Congratulations. Great job. Working hard. Congratulations. Thank you for being here. Congratulations. Thanks for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Every hour you play.
Thanks.
Congratulations. Thanks for coming tonight. Thanks so much for coming.
Did you know when I first started out it was that long?
What you want?
Just saying hello.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good one.
Bye-bye, Grace.
Wow, we really know how to clear out a room. I know my senior staff members now. I can find them.
It's gonna be so great. They're just great.
I'm sorry.
We really got the minutes system on that.
Yeah, I do me a rough draft.
I love it. I know you fill in minutes. It's a great time saver. And you just type that right into your template. Perfect.
Last meeting, I hadn't done that night.
Angela looks so much like Molly. It's sort of astounding to me.
Looks just like her mom.
Probably better now.
Okay, ready? Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So
moved.
Second. All in favor? Board member comments. Ms. Carter, we'll start with you.
I think I can pretty well speak on behalf of the whole board in saying that I am so incredibly impressed with the amazing number of students who have received awards in our arts programs and how much we appreciate the hard work that goes into making these students so successful that's done by our teachers and administrative support staff that keeps our art education programs right on the forefront of the state.
you're
Job
here.
well done.
Yes, ditto. Yeah.
Mr. Lamb.
I'll only ditto what you said, but that's the only comment I have.
Okay. Mr. Dennison.
Yes. I wanted to let the board and the public know that the board is responsible for appointing a member for San Diego Community College each year for a 4-year term. For our newest board members, the Community College Board of Trustees consists of 4 members each appointed by us, the Moore County Schools Board of Education, 4 by Moore County Commissioners, and the Governor's Office appoints 4, and Hope County Commissioners appoint 1 member. Presently, the trustees we have on the board are George Little, Gary Evans, Arthur Blue, and Linda McCaskill. Now, Linda's term is up this year, and she has indicated that she would like to be reappointed. And we plan on making that decision at our May meeting. But if there are any members of the public or anyone else that might be interested in being appointed to the board, if they please contact me, I'll make sure that we get your information that's presented to the board members prior to us making a decision at next month's meeting. And if you do that by April the 25th, I'd appreciate it. And a reminder to the board members that the Mark Wood Authentic Tour will be in Lee Auditorium this Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Students from Pinecrest, Union Pines, Southern Middle, and West Pine Middle will be participating in that. And also for the military families, celebration of the military child will be held at the Arboretum in Pinehurst this Saturday. Union Pines Jazz Quartet will perform the national anthem, and the 82nd Airborne Chorus will be performing at 1:30. And there are hot dogs, hamburgers, drinks, desserts, and all kinds of entertainment for the children, and it's all free. And the last item is I'm going to hand out each board member the effective do's and don'ts of being an advocate to please look over, because we're going to start getting a little active in this area in the very near future. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Lang?
No, thank you.
Helena?
I do have a few comments. I know I spoke a little bit at our work session, thank you, about the March primary, but I wanted to take a few moments here since there are a few more folks in the room. It's nice to see more people here. First, I really wanted to thank all the volunteers who work to provide information to the community about the sales tax referendum and how it would be used to fund school construction. I really want to thank those who worked on Election Day as well, because there were some folks that came out specifically to help and to be able to provide answers at the polls to what the sales tax referendum would be used for and how it would support school construction efforts. And I also want to thank Parents for More and the Invest for More Kids Committee for their work in trying to get this information out to the community and really engage the community in a dialogue about how these funds would be used. We certainly gathered a lot of lessons learned from this effort that can be built upon to be used in the future. And I had to really listening to what Alex said today, actually, in the invocation piece here about our inspiration, about never giving up, about always looking at what you've done and why something didn't work and how to make that better in the future. So it's inspiring to hear that from our fifth graders. So that was timely. So it's secondly, I wanted to say, obviously we're disappointed with the results, but I want to say that we're not deterred, and I'm not sure you all noticed in our consent agenda that people were still milling about when we were voted on the consent agenda, but the Board of Education is moving forward with our commitment to the facilities plan, and that there are some specific things that we can continue to take action on, and we will continue to take action on, given some funding that we do have available in the lottery, and also what the county commissioners have already saved for us. So we're still moving forward with this plan, which I think is important for the community to hear. And finally, we are looking for another opportunity to vote in November, and if you are a business or an organization, a group or individual that would like to help spread the word, please contact me. I'd be more than happy to work with you about how we could talk about this effort and how we can continue to educate the public. My phone number and email are on the board website. I'm almost afraid to say that, but it is there, and I'd be happy to serve as a conduit of trying to brainstorm ways to continue to engage the community in this discussion. So those are my comments.
Thank you. Ms. Caldwell.
Yes, I just have one. Miss Amber, I know you don't like attention, but she is leaving us, and we are very sad that she is moving on to greener pastures in Virginia, right? Am I correct? And I just wanted to say we're going to miss you, and thank you for all that you do.
I agree with that.
And I would like to just follow up Helena's comments to say I too was moved by Alex Simpson's inspiration, and I wrote down his statement that you never fail until you quit. We will not quit on the master facilities plan. There's another day, and we are committed to make this a successful endeavor in November. So you'll hear more from us later. Dr. Grimacy.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, each April we celebrate Administrative Professionals Day to honor the dedication and hard work of our administrative assistants throughout the district. Administrative assistants are found in every one of our schools and in most administrative offices throughout the district. These unsung heroes always go above and beyond what is expected of them. From the organization of the office to the frontline customer service representatives for every school, our administrative assistants provide essential support for our students, parents, teachers, and administrators. They juggle a wide variety of tasks, such as answering phones, welcoming and assisting visitors, organizing offices, and serving as eyes and ears that measure the temperament of our staff and school community. They also serve as counselors for principals and superintendents as well. Moore County Schools administrative assistants contribute to the culture of our school district through their personable and helpful attitudes. We're grateful to them for their hard work and dedication to our students. Our administrative assistants truly make a difference in the lives of everyone with whom they interact on a daily basis. This year, Administrative Professionals Day is April 27th. Administrative Professionals Week is April 24th to 30th. I invite our Moore County community to join me in celebrating the important work of our administrative assistants at each of our schools, in our central office, and in our education center. And to kick off our efforts to recognize and thank our Moore County Schools administrative assistants, I ask that you please enjoy tonight's Superintendent Spotlight on Greatness video. Doc Rock.
So Dante, did you know that this month's Superintendent Spotlight is on administrative assistants?
Oh, that's awesome, because they do a lot of the grunt work that make teachers shine, that helps students be successful in classrooms. I mean, I love our office staff. They get to do everything for us. Wouldn't you say so?
I would say so. They're like the nurse,
yes,
the grandma,
the custodian.
They do so much.
They're investigative researchers.
They protect us.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. You know, they create an atmosphere also in the office that when families and visitors come in, they just feel like they're part of a family and feel like they're home, and that's really nice to have.
It is. You know, we get a lot of compliments here at Aberdeen Elementary on their office staff and the way it feels when people walk in the front office.
Absolutely, absolutely. I don't know that we can do our work without having them here with us.
Absolutely not. I could not be here without Dee, Diane, or Deborah.
Absolutely.
Mrs. Colby and Miss Jane help try their best to help us find things that we lose, and if we're not so like if we're nervous for a test or something, they tell us that you don't have to be so nervous.
So I've been here as an administrative assistant at Southern Pines Elementary School for about 3 years. I've been at the school for almost 8 years, and I thoroughly enjoy what I do, working in the office, helping our teachers and staff, helping our principal and assistant principal with their needs. We have students that come in the office for medications that we help with. We have students that are office helpers that come help their classroom teachers that come to the office. And we can be doing anything from helping a student with a Band-Aid to helping a student call mom or dad when they're sick, and letting principals and assistant principals know what's going on campus. So it's been a joy to be here, and I always enjoy coming to work, seeing students and parents and our administrators and teachers every day. It's been a very much experience and fulfilling job for me.
I like Miss Kobe because she's very helpful and she kind, because every time I use polite words or manners, she always gives me a compliment.
It's so nice to come to Southern Middle and meet Miss Brown with a smile on her face. She's always happy and warm, and she loves the children, you can just tell.
The ladies in the administrative office are great. I love talking to them. I'll sometimes do announcements, and they're really fun to talk to. And Miss Watson's just a great person to see in the morning, and she can just really make somebody's day.
Wow, Moore County Schools. Working for Moore County Schools has been such an incredible, awesome, amazing time. Learning new people and meeting new people and working with a great staff here as a great team, working together, trying to make sure that the students get a great education and to move on to their next level in life. It has been such a privilege working here at Pinecrest. I have been here for 17 years.
Notice Alvida's not here tonight. She's tied down at Southern Pines Elementary School. If any of our administrative assistants are here this evening, would you please stand and take a bow? Kim Bone, anybody? Come on, Kim. On behalf of all of them, yes. A very worthy representative for everybody, but we would say Sonia Potter as well, and we're just very grateful for all the work that you did. Mr. Chairman, that completes Superintendent's report. I'm at your service.
Mr. Dennison.
Yes, we have one person for public comment. Marsh Smith, representing Moore County Wildlife Club. Marsh?
Thank you, Ed.
Yes, sir. My pleasure.
Good evening. Some of you I know. Some of you I've known for decades. Others I haven't met yet. My name's Marsh Smith, and I'm a product of the Moore County Public School System. Graduated from Pinecrest High School in 1976. And here with me tonight is one of my close friends, David Page, who taught me in 7th and 8th grade. He started teaching in Moore County in 1962. He retired in 1995. And also with me is another friend, Freddie McKenzie, who graduated from Vass Lakeview in 1964. I was first graduating class out of Union in 65. All right then. And Mr. McKenzie is also a Vietnam veteran. I'll get to that in a minute. I just want to say to you how important the Moore County Public School Systems has been to me, because I remember when the funding cuts were in front of the legislature, I told several of our representatives that all my teachers, every last one of them in the Moore County school system, was a model to me. And I admired them all. At the top of my list is David Page, who, when I was in 7th and 8th grade, when he taught me, we used to make fun of him because he would tell us about frugal living. His motto, I only later heard from my uncle, but this was unspoken and demonstrated by David, and it was simply, if you use what you've got, you won't need what you want. David lived a block from what's now the Moore County Elementary School. He reused the same lunch bag until it was falling apart. He'd walk a block to school and carry his sandwich and his piece of fruit in the same lunch bag. He and his wife had one car. He had one car. And he exemplified the frugal life. And we used to make fun of him for telling us about putting bricks in toilets so they used less water every time you flushed them. But what he said to me and what he taught me and what he taught the rest of the students was just how important the environment is, which is what brings me here tonight. And I come with joy in my heart about all the gifts that I've gotten from Moore County public school systems. But I come with sadness in my heart because, well, let me just start with 2007. I think that was the year that Mrs. Jones started with Southern Pines Elementary School, the lady you gave an award to. In 2007, Bruce, my former law partner, asked me to be on the Moore County Energy Advisory Committee, the Moore County Public Schools Energy Advisory Committee. And we did, more mundane things like talking about how school buses could be optimized, and congratulations on the way you've optimized the school bus system with basically two uses per day for the same school bus fleet. That's just a stroke of genius. But one of the things that came up was the Moore County school site selection paradigm, for lack of a better word. And it was explained to me by your then facilities manager, John Hawthorne, that when you were considering a new school, you would plot the locations of all the students that would likely attend the proposed school, and then you had sophisticated computers, you'd plot the geographic center for that population, much like Star, North Carolina is the geographic center of North Carolina. You would plot the geographic center of those potential students, and you draw a little radius around that center, and there would be where you'd like to site your school. Well, the problem with that is if you're drawing from more than two population centers, that paradigm can't help but put a new school in some place in between the population centers. Well, why did this strike me as Ernest T. Ainsley's hand? It just walloped me when I heard it, because that is a recipe for putting development in rural agricultural areas, because most of the unpopulated areas are rural agricultural areas, things that not only gives this county what is important to it as far as quality of life, but they provide excellent services such as purification of water, purification of the air, farm jobs, forestry jobs. They provide all of those things. And just 10 years before, I'd been on the Land Use Plan Steering Committee, and that was the county's top priority in zoning the county, to make a place to preserve the rural agricultural areas. They are not infill areas. They are what makes Moore County a great place to live. And so that brings me to the site for this proposed school near Lakeview. And Freddie McKenzie is here with me because he lives on Camp Easter Road, near where there's a plan to site a school, a new school, and to bring 2 miles, 2 whole miles of water line and sewer line to that school, which will trigger development in that area. Why did I ask Freddie to come here? I asked him to come here not only because he's a friend of mine and he lives out there, but because he is an illustration, an embodiment of why these areas are important, not just for clean air and clean water and quality of life, but because he came back from Vietnam after serving from 1967 to 70. 3 years in a war, and he came back and he was scarred from that war. And he healed himself. The land helped to heal him. He took up long-distance running, and he would run up and down Camp Easter Road amid that gem of a rural agricultural area with farms and forests and the wildlife and the farmers who know how to live with the land and take a living from it. And it healed him. That is holy ground out there. It's a precious resource, not only for environmental reasons, not only for economic reasons, but for spiritual reasons, for the reasons that resonate with most people who have a heart right here. And if you let this mindless computer paradigm choose your school sites and then just plop the schools down where the computer says to, you will eviscerate a wonderful gem of a rural agricultural heritage area. And I implore you not to use that paradigm to cite this school. And to keep in mind that the very residential development that often gets attracted to new schools happens out, if it happens out in rural areas, it's a net tax loser for the county. I emailed each and every one of you on the school board the Chatham County Cost of Community Services study that shows it takes $1 worth of services for every 87 cents of taxes that rural residential development pays in Chatham County, our neighbor. That's the nearest study I could find. So for all these reasons, I implore you to consider or to reconsider how you all cite schools, because it's a really important question. I'll leave you with this thought. About 2 weeks ago, I was listening to the radio, and they had a show on about, public radio had a little program on about the disappearing rainforests. People are just nibbling away at the edge of the rainforest after timber's harvested. And I was outraged by this process. I thought, this is awful. These are the lungs of the world. What is the matter with these South American countries? And then it hit me. We're doing the same thing. And who is the United States to tell them to straighten up and fly right if we can't do it in our own backyard? Thanks for listening to me. Thanks for the extra time.
Thanks, March. March, thank you. And that's it, Mr. Chairman.
Anybody want a break? You want to keep on going?
Let's keep
on going.
Let's go.
All right. Dr. Grimace?
Mr. Chairman, I'll defer to Mr. Bundy for just a final offering of our recommendation on the budget. Happy to answer any questions, and we'll leave it up to your final discussion and consideration.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Grimace and I would like to present the budget for 2016-2017. It's a part of your executive summary page, and it just shows a listing of the numbers by each fund within our school district. The total budget is $112,944,140, and this includes a request of the county of $29,019,140 from Moore County, which is an increase in county funding of $1.2 million, $1,254,000 compared to the prior year funding. And then it just breaks down how that number is detailed out between the local funds, amount going to charter schools, local capital fund, and then the amount for the digital learning fund. And again, this is part of our presentation from prior meetings with the PowerPoints attached. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
And this does come with the superintendent's recommendation for approval. Happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Bundy, I just wanted to clarify that this budget that's here, and just so we all know and the public is aware, that this includes our request to preserve specific items, such as some of the positions at the high schools. It also preserves our funding for our obligations for the nurses, the school nurses, and also the physical trainers at the high schools. Is that correct? So
yes, ma'am. That is all part of this budget request. That is correct.
Okay. And I say that just because there were 13 people who came and spoke at our budget meeting last month, and I wanted just to be clear, especially thanking those people for coming and talking, because I think it's really important that the public is involved and helps provide some input on these important matters, and then to assure them that they're in the current budget request that we're putting forward.
That is correct.
Any other comments? Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Board of Education approve the proposed budget for 16-17.
Second.
Further discussion, comments? All in favor? Thank you. And thank you for all the work.
Thanks, Mike.
Just a reminder to the public, Mr. Chairman, that the budget will be presented to the county commissioners during their meeting next Tuesday, April 15th.
I think that's the 19th.
Did I say 15th?
You did. That's
I've got tax day on, I've been around this lang.
It's not tax
Yeah, I think, excuse me, I did mean the 19th. So it'll be Tuesday, April 19th. Yeah, thank you, Ms. Wallenmiller. Thank you for everybody for looking at me when I said that. Ready for the next item,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman?
Legislative priorities.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, at this time, I'll defer to Mr. Dennison. The recommendation, I do bring the legislative priorities back to you, having heard no further direction from the board. I hope you'll notice that the adjustments that the adjustment that was discussed at the work session has been made, and so the superintendent rests with any final remarks from Mr. Dennison.
Well, I have not heard anything from any of the other board members, and I really appreciate the board looking at this now, so that the time has come to start talking to some people about what's going on in Raleigh. So thank you very much for your consideration. And unless anybody has any questions, I move that we approve our legislative priorities for the coming year.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor? Thank you for all your work and your...
Everybody works around here, I'll tell you. Nobody gets by.
All right. Alternative site for proposed advanced career center.
And Mr. Chairman, as you recall, Mr. Barath offered a detailed report on this alternative site for the proposed advanced career center at Sand Hills Community College. He's back this evening to answer any questions board members might have. The administration seeks just board endorsement of this approach. As we invest resources and further due diligence, it would be important to make sure that we've got the board's favor in moving forward. I'll defer to Mr. Barath on any final comments he'd like to make.
None at this time. Here to answer any questions the board may have.
And barring any questions or concerns from the board, this does come with the superintendent's recommendation for approval.
My only question is about the timeline. How long do we think it will take to go through this process with Sand Hills Community College?
The process a college has to go through is in a few steps. First, they have to declare the property undesirable and then submit that to the state. And the state college board will then review it and then approve it and send it back to them, at which point they may dispose of the property in accordance to their desires. And they have a lot more options to property disposal than K through 12 facilities do. And so that's probably going to take a couple of months. I would probably say, estimate probably in the neighborhood of 4 months.
But John, this will still be sooner than if we'd remained with the site we looked at it originally, which requires a lot of time involved with the fish and wildlife or game that was going to take pretty many months to get complete before we could really start anything.
Correct.
So we're saving time really if we do.
In order to achieve the permit 10 requirement, that would take in excess of a year. And there's no guarantee that we would get it. It would have to be pursued through the, obviously, the steps that have been outlined.
Last weekend, I walked around the property that you mapped out for us, and I think it's very appealing for what we need. We will eliminate the use of shuttle buses to get our students from one side of Airport Road to the other side of Airport Road as they go from one class to another. And I want to commend you for the hard work and getting with the college and coming up with a solution that I think will be very well suited for our career center.
I hope so too.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I move that the board approve the superintendent's request to pursue the alternative site on the SCC campus for the new ACC.
Discussion. All in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you. Reports, information, and discussion, Dr. Grimacy.
I'm going to defer to Mr. Barath.
I'll wait for Dr. Rock to open it up. And if she would open the PDF with it. If you don't mind, Doc Rock, I'll go ahead and drive with the scroll. I think it reaches over there. Apologize for the delay. During previous meetings that Chairman Cunningham mentioned during the work session that have been attended with the County Commissioner, Chair, and Vice Chair as well, the question came up about, okay, where are we with our funding and the contributory amount that the Board of Education had committed to the acquisition of properties and the design of these new schools as part of the facilities master plan. If you would recall, back in the fall, the Board of Education had made a decision to take, at that time, the North Carolina Public School Lottery Fund in the amount of approximately $3.2 million and set it for the purpose of property acquisition and design. At the same time, the board had also decided that they would take the remaining 2007 Phase 1B bond funds from the auxiliary gym additions at Pinecrest High School and Union Pines High School, just shy of $600,000, and apply that as well to the acquisition of property and design of the schools. So those funds were set aside and used initially, as you recall, through many requests I brought to you for lottery applications to buy Aberdeen property, to perform due diligence on properties, to do the design work of the Advanced Career Center, and for the design work of the new Area 1 Elementary School. So that was a little history of kind of how we got quickly to where we are today. So what I prepared, and that's part of your board packet, is this PDF, is a summary of the costs that have been accrued on projects, and as well as the lottery amounts that have been set aside and allocated for those specific projects. The key, not to bore everybody and go through everything tonight, is on your first sheet. It shows you our lottery funds. It shows you the projects, the request for work that has been done, upcoming potential ones, and what you will notice at the bottom is that with all the anticipated potential costs to complete the acquisition of all properties and to set up the design work for just the first two projects, being the Advanced Career Center and the new Area 1 Elementary School, there was a deficit in the total amount of funding of about $2.5 million. So we will have exhausted 100% of the lottery funds that we had set aside for this purpose. We'll also have exhausted the remaining bond funds, so that just under $600,000 for this purpose. This would mean that moving forward, we would be seeking that the county commissioners use their capital reserve fund for capital projects to complete this process. At no time during our dialogues throughout the fall last year and such did we ever believe and say that this would fund 100% of the need. There's always an understanding that we will exhaust these funds first before needing the funding from the county. And so following the actions the board did approve tonight, we are at that point on the future acquisition of properties. Everything else is currently funded. The second page indicates the remaining funds of the 2007 bond Phase 1B work. These are the projects that are in process of getting ready to bid out or in the process of construction at this time, and they are all critical needs. These are failing systems that we are replacing and working on in these three high schools. As you have seen in the budget request earlier, our current situation on deferred maintenance is measured in the millions of dollars. This does not address every need. This just addresses the available funding of these few needs at these three schools. It doesn't quite, it may not cover them all. There was one project we're going to hold back on and not release for bid until all the other numbers come in to see if there's any savings. It is an HVAC equipment replacement at Pinecrest High School because, as you see in the anticipation, there's potential shortage, but depending on efficiency of bids that come in, we may be able to move forward with it, but we will determine that at a later time. As bids are received, they will be brought to the board for action to contract with them as a result. The following documents are set up for each of the four master plan projects. Advanced Career Center, new Area 1 Elementary School, and Area 3 Aberdeen and Area 3 Southern Pines Elementary Schools. This is just a summary budget sheet that shows the overall budget, shows any costs that have been encumbered at this time, and any balances remaining. And then the supporting pages for each of those line items are included in here. This is information for the board. There's no need to take action on any of this tonight. I am presenting it to you because I also will present this to the commissioners at their budget meeting this Thursday, the 14th, as information for them as well to answer the questions that both board chairs had posed to me. It's a lot of information, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them at this time.
John, remind the board of the time that or the approximate time that you'll be on the agenda.
Remind
the board of the approximate time that you're on the agenda.
Coming up.
This Thursday.
This Thursday.
3:30?
If I can remember, I apologize.
I believe
it's in the afternoon.
I believe it's 3:30.
Is it 3:30 then? Okay. I plan to be there well ahead of that.
Okay.
May I ask a quick question? In looking down at, I don't know what this page is, but the breakdown for the Advanced Career Center,
Yes.
we'd expressed some concern before about being able to feed the students at the Advanced Career Center. And I noticed that the one line item that says kitchen materials says 0. So are we still not looking into having some sort of food service program available at the ACC?
It'd be an a la carte grab and go where vending solution, also with a new site being located on the Sandhills Community College. It is just on the south side of Van Dusen, which is catty corner to Dempsey and Little there, and there's dining facilities there as well.
True, which would not be available to the 9th and 10th graders, since they're not allowed on the Sandhills campus.
I would have to look into that. I cannot
Yeah, I
answer
think it's
that
only
at this
11th
time.
and 12th graders that.
Mr.
are allowed.
Barath, you're emphasizing a point we haven't discussed with the board at that point. What we have left with the board was our commitment to having a vending solution or some sort of a kiosk. So I would suggest that what we discuss about access to Dempsey Hall would be something new for the board that we can wait until another time, till we've exhausted that. The answer to Ms. Carter's question is simply that we haven't advanced far enough to drill down to determine what the solution is yet. And so a couple of the options would include the fact that we have to assess how many of the upperclassmen would be availing themselves to Dempsey Hall. And if 9th and 10th graders can avail themselves to Dempsey Hall, then some supervision issues would have to be looked at that would include the principals as well as the director of operations. So it's a good question, Ms. Carter. We just don't have an answer for it at this point. As we get into the design of it, that obviously would be something we're going to have to revisit.
That line item is specifically identified for if you're going to have a full-service kitchen, like we would in a traditional high school.
Right.
Since it's a la carte and grab-and-go or vending, those are carried under the FF&E budget line items.
Okay.
Now, that's a good answer, Mr. Barath. That was one I would have.
I will replay that.
Strike, that would have been good for swing number one.
Make a mistake, learn, move on.
Thank you, Ms. Carter. Any other questions, board members? Mr. Chairman?
Okay, yes, High Falls or
Okay.
High Falls.
Yes, sir. Well, during its meeting on March 14th, 2016, you authorized the administration to explore the possibility of changing the spelling of High Falls Elementary School to 2 words. The study was in response to a request from the High Falls Historical Committee. The committee had submitted a list of signatures to demonstrate public interest in its request to change the spelling of the school's name to 2 words. A survey was made available to parents, staff members, alumni, and other interested citizens with a deadline of March 24th. The survey outcome was decisive, with 520 respondents expressing their preference for 1 word High Falls and only 20 expressing a preference for 2 words High Falls. A community forum was conducted at High Falls Elementary School on April 7th. Spokespersons offered rationale for each spelling. Forum participants were invited to display their preference by a show of hands. Survey results were shared with the audience, and the forum concluded with general questions and input from the audience. Public input during the community forum affirmed the survey outcome. But as much as anything else, this was a community forum that was characterized by civility and respect and appreciation from the community for, I think, 5 members of the school board were there, Charles, I think, and just good sportsmanship. I just have to compliment the High Falls community. It was a real credit to the community, and I'll let other board members speak for themselves, but I just had a good feeling about it. So based on community input from the survey and the forum, I have concluded that I will not propose a change in the spelling of High Falls Elementary School. So barring any alternative preference on the part of the school board, no action having been taken, the spelling of the school's name shall remain 1 word, High Falls.
And it was interesting that I actually rode through in the daytime, and when you get past the bridge, you see the green sign that's 1 word, High Falls. And just a few feet up from that, there is where the post office is, and it's 2 words, High Falls. And then you get up to the fire department, and there's 2 words, High Falls. And then you get to the school, and of course there's 1 word, and then the church. So
that's diversity, Ms. Thompson.
It's diversity.
It's all High Falls.
But it was clear at the community meeting that there was sincerity and extreme passion from the people that showed and spoke that they want their name to stay like it is.
I have to agree with that too, Pam. It was actually a really pleasure going there. And I went with my daughter, and the people there were just amazing and sweet and kind. And I forgot that precious lady that we met.
Bernice.
Bernice. Oh, she was adorable. And so I mean, just the passion that they had for that, it just was overwhelming. And it was actually really nice to see that. It was really nice to see that. It still exists.
And the superintendent will settle with no further concerns of the board, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Thank you. Now, we need to reconvene.
Yeah, I think since we recessed, we'll recess from this meeting and go to the other meeting, then we'll come back and adjourn this meeting.
Let's recess.
Recess.
To the conference room.